morning. Good morning. Good morning, visionaries. Welcome to the second segment. Is it a second? No, the third segment in this series of The Visionary Woman. I'm so excited to have you all join me this morning, and I am super excited about the guest that we're going to have this morning on, Christen Johnson. She is a personal stylist, and she is going to share with us something that she has created, a vision that she has birthed out called the Body Bible. And so I'm excited for us, especially as women, because God has created each and every single one of us differently. And she has been able to really think through the different shapes, the different styles, how we are created, how we were made, what we love, how we feel about ourselves. And she was able to put it in a particular document that's going to be helpful for us. If you are joining for the first time and you do not know me, welcome. My name is Mona Lee Belazaire, and I am the host of this series, The Visionary Woman. And the purpose of these lives is just to, one, highlight women who have birthed out or are in the process of birthing out a particular vision that God has given them, and also to encourage you, the visionary woman, to do the same. And so do not take this time lightly. Make sure that you are sharing, make sure that you are commenting, make sure that you are taking notes, make sure that you are doing everything, okay? Because we want to make sure that you are learning. This is an opportunity for you to learn. This is an opportunity for you to grow. This is an opportunity for you to think through, okay, you have a particular vision. What are some things that I need to do? What are some things that you need to do? What are some things that has caused hindrance? How can you overcome obstacles? How can you be confident in what it is that God has given you? And so I see that Christian is on, and so I want to bring her on this morning. I'm so excited for this. And when we think about also, before we get started with
Good
Christen, here we
morning.
go. Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Trying to stay warm. Still kind of waking up, but it's all
It
good.
is absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me on the Visionary Woman series. This is the third segment in this particular series, and so I'm excited to have you on. I know when we first met, I was like, this is somebody I need to have on the Visionary Woman, because what you have created is really something that's going to transcend how women think and feel about themselves, and then even also understanding how God has made us equally different, and how we can appreciate our different body styles, our different body shapes, our different personalities too, because all of that goes into styling. But I am not the personal stylist, you are, so I'm going to let you take the role and lead there. So, but before we get started, I want you to share a little bit more about who Christen Johnson is. Tell the people who you are.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Mona, for having me. I love that introduction. I need you to intro me every time I do this and speaking engagements. But hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm excited to be here. My name is Christen Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of SCB Luxury Styling. I call myself the style savant because I do more than just personal styling, as Mona mentioned. I'm really passionate about helping women feel confident in their own bodies and their own skin. And to not feel like they have to lose weight or to look a certain way, just to be accepted by themselves and by everybody else. I've been styling since 2013 and just recently have felt led to just reconfigure my business a little bit, and really start digging deeper with my clients, really start digging deeper with myself, and really talking more about why we need to be showing up as the way that we were created, and specifically just helping women to feel more confident, like I mentioned, in their bodies. So I recreated my own body shapes in an ebook called The Body Shape Bible, that actually recently has been updated, and I've been able to share that with my audience during Black Friday. So we'll talk more about that today. But I'm just excited. I'm very passionate about style because it comes so naturally to me, but to a lot of other women it doesn't. So I'm really just here to be a guide, really to be a resource, and I'm thankful to be chosen to be
That's good.
here. So
I
thank
love
you.
that you talked about the Body Bible and how it has been updated. And so that is a part of what we do here at the Visionary Woman, is we encourage women who have something to really make sure that they are continuing to birth out that thing. So I know when I saw Kristen the last time, I told her that She needs to make sure that it's updated. We need to make sure that it's out there because there's so many good things that God has given us, but sometimes we hold them back. And so a part of really being a visionary woman is continuing to go and move forward. So talk to us about, how did you get into personal styling? I know you mentioned it comes easy to you, but even though it came easy to you, how did you just happen to come into it? How did it work?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew that I didn't want to like do
Mm.
a regular desk job. Like I went into college knowing that I wanted to study business management. I knew I wanted to own my own business, but I didn't really know
Okay.
what industry I was going to be in until I want to say maybe sophomore year. I had always gotten compliments on my outfits. Everybody always, told me how nice I looked. And that was something that was always there. I always been into fashion, have always been into style. I've been dressing myself since the third grade, and I take a lot of pride in that because, when you're a young child, your parents
Hmm.
they kind of make the choices about what you're wearing. But when you get a certain age, they kind of pass the torch to you. So I was super excited when my mother let me pick my clothes out for school. And that kind of just became my thing. I used to plan out my outfits for the entire week. Like I've literally been doing this my entire life for myself. So when I saw that other women were kind of struggling with it or
Hmm.
felt like they needed some assistance, I'm like, okay, maybe this could be something that I could do like full time. This could be my career. Like I mentioned, I went into school, wanting to study business, but not really knowing what industry I wanted to be in. So as I was there, that just kind of, popped up in my head like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I should pursue this. So I really started to get to work. I, looked for some internships. I started looking for jobs. I started putting myself out there, connecting with a lot of my peers at school who were photographers, models, and really started putting together photo shoots and really just built from there. I mean, at the time, I had no idea that personal styling was even a
Okay.
thing. I was just doing what I thought styling was. So I, again, did more research and started to get a job or secured a job, a career in styling. And I'm like, okay, that's when I started the personal styling piece. There at the company I was working for, Trunk Club, we were working with
Mm.
men. So that was my first kind of real taste into styling. I was styling men
Wow.
when I first started, y'all. And I kind of grew out of that and into, of course, women because I can relate to women a lot more. But aside from that, that's pretty much how it got started. In the editorial space, kind of just doing what I thought was right and then transitioning into more of like personal styling, everyday styling for women and even some men as I secured a full-time career at a company.
Wow, that's interesting that
So,
you started
yeah.
styling men first. Talk to us a little bit about that particular piece because, when you are looking for a career, when you're looking for a full-time job, and I know you mentioned wanting to work for yourself, so not having to be behind the desk all of the time, right? Talk about that particular time and moment in your life when you were thinking about, okay, I know where I want to go, but now I have to do this work. Talk about that a little bit and how that shaped your understanding of where you wanted to be and what you needed to possibly do in that season before you got to where you wanted to go.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, the styling industry, the fashion industry has always been non-traditional, or something that a lot of people don't
Mm.
really pursue, or if they do pursue it, it's not along the lines of it's not something that's planned out, or it's not something that's like setting them up for success. It's always just trial and error type of thing, if that makes sense. So for me, I take myself seriously. I know I wanted other people to take me seriously, so I had to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that when I step into this industry, I'm doing it the right way. I have the right backing. I have the right support. Like, where do I need to go first? So for me, that's when I secured an internship. That was my first internship in 2013. I was in school still, had a retail job, my first retail job, and an internship on top of that that wasn't paying me. But I love that internship because that was my taste into like what styling was before I even got the corporate job, to be honest with you. Thankfully, my sister was connected to her friend whose cousin was a stylist and
Mm,
she
okay.
owned a boutique in Baltimore. And I'm still connected to her to this day. But she gave, she took a chance on me. She allowed me to help her like run her boutique, and she told me or taught me a lot of things about styling. I was able to be a part of the Baltimore Fashion Week back then. So that was that was the catalyst for, my career and what kind of started me in the direction of styling. That helped me to get my first job at Trunk Club, to be honest with you. And I was super excited because that was my first real like brand that I was working for that was paying me. I was working a desk job, but it was different because I was able to style, but I was
Yes.
also able to see my clients in person. And like I mentioned, when I got there in 2016, fast forward 3 years later, I graduated from college. That was my first real job outside of college. So that was a really huge step for me. It was a learning experience. It was different, but it was still like something that could help me pay back my student loans. So I was excited for it because it was literally in my industry. So, working with men there was interesting. I felt like I had no choice but to work with men because that was their
Makes sense.
audience.
Yeah.
That's who they served. Yeah, and it was great. I mean, guys are easy to me. All we did was pull like fabrics for suits because we did custom suiting. I took their measurements, all of the things that I do for women, but just a little different. But while I was there, actually, I want to say maybe 3 months in, this was February 2016. I had first started 3 months or maybe 2 months later, they opened up the Trunk Club service to
Mm.
styling women. So
Wow.
I was able to get a taste of course, styling men, but then also the ability to shift with a company who was new. Like this was considered a startup back then. So I was able to kind of shift with them and evolve with them and be able to serve women, ideally who I wanted to serve, without even having to like do too much. So it was a really cool experience. I mean, aside from me only being there for 8 months out of my career, it was a really great learning experience. I learned a lot about brands. I learned a lot about how to style women, how to style men. And that was another like big stepping stone into my career and who I am, really to the person who I became today.
That's good.
So,
And there's a word
yeah.
that you said that I want us to hold on to. You said evolve. And so, because at the time you were working with men, and then the company itself transitioned to working with women. So, in terms of transition and
Yeah.
pivoting or evolution or evolving with a company or even with yourself, that's not something that is, a stranger to you. And so, I'm sure that you particularly use those
Right.
skills and expertise and everything that you learned there to create the Body Shape Bible, right? Is that correct? So I want us to talk a little bit about that because really, when I heard about the Body Shape Bible, I was wowed because that means you took the time to really think through one, what it is that women want, what are they feeling, what makes them confident. The first thing that we see, is ourselves. Before we do any type of internal work, we
Yeah.
do this. We see ourselves first. And so we are our biggest critics. And so we're always seeing the things that are not so good about ourselves or the things that need improvement before we see the things that are really good about ourselves. So take us through the journey of creating this Body Shape Bible. What went into it? First of all, talk about what exactly it is, and then we can transition to what went into this process.
Yeah. I mean, first, I'm glad that you mentioned the word transition and evolve because it's so funny. You don't really realize like what you've been through or like your journey and how things make sense until you actually start talking about it. So I've gone through so many transitions in my personal life, in my business, and the one thing that was consistent was just my drive, my motivation, and of course how I showed up every day. I mean, regardless of my job transitioning from one type of audience to now two types of audiences back then, I still made sure, I was giving my all. And that's exactly what I want my clients to be able to do too. So even now to this day, I work with women who are going
Mm,
through a transition. And whether it be their body transitioning, whether it be their lifestyle transitioning, is some type of transition that's causing them to want to ask for help finally and to
mm,
be humble enough to even invest in someone to help them with their needs. Because for me, I mean, I do a lot on my own, and I know a lot of women feel that same way too. Like, they do a lot on their own and they're okay with that. But I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, I actually need help. Like, I can do a lot on my own. Like, I'm capable. I'm very capable. But it's points and times in my career where I need to take a step back and delegate and or ask for help and invest in others, which is why I want my clients, or which is what I want my clients to do. So fast forward to 2019, that's when I created the Body Shape Bible. So 2016, when I was working full time at that brand, the Body Shape Bible wasn't even a thought. I mean, for all the brands that I worked for, because Trunk Club wasn't my first rodeo. I mean, I worked for Nordstrom, I worked for Amazon, I worked for other brands, and they've all either gave me like deliverables on how to dress certain body shapes, or they gave me their theory on how they do it and how women should be showing up. So for me, I mean, as a stylist, I'm able to have a lot of creative control. But when you work for other brands and other companies, they also have guidelines that they want you to follow, which a lot of stylists coming into the industry, and even stylists who've been here who haven't even been able to work with other brands and kind of just worked for themselves, they don't realize that. So for me, it's like, okay, I'll follow these guidelines that you guys are giving me, like the pear or like the apple or the rectangle shape. That's great, because that's what y'all are teaching me to teach my clients, but I'm still going to add my own spin on it. So I've always been doing that my entire life. So, moving forward to 2019, when the Body Shape Bible was actually created, it came from my dad actually encouraging me to start my own body shapes. So I did a speaking engagement in, I want to say, December of 2018. And I did a speaking engagement in front of a group of women. They were all older than me, women who were in different industries, real estate, finance, like accounting, like different industries like that. So I wanted to go in the room, I'm the youngest person in the room probably. I want to make sure they take me seriously. I want to make sure I sound like I know what I'm talking about. That's always been like the thought in the back of my mind. Like, okay, I'm young. Most of the women who are attracted to me are a little older than me, which is great. I love that. But for me, I have felt like I have always been in a space where I need to like be professional and be serious so they can take me seriously. So this is me back then going in. I had did some research about the body shapes that I just mentioned, like the rectangle and the pear, just making sure I remembered, I wasn't too rusty. I remembered everything that I was taught. And I start speaking in front of these women, really going through the body shapes and really getting them to understand what, they look like and how they can relate to them. And I just felt like these women were so disgusted or, just felt like, I don't really want to be called that. And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, well, I mean, it's nothing wrong with either of these body shapes. Like, it really doesn't matter what you are. The point of this presentation, or the point of me talking to you guys today, is for you to learn how to actually understand your body so that you can dress for it. But like, it really doesn't matter what shape you are. But they were so hung up on the names, how the body shapes looked, and they just didn't want to be associated with any of it. So that was a challenge for me, because I'm like, okay, well, these are the body shapes that are available to y'all. Like, I don't really know what else to say aside from just encouraging you and just reassuring that you're beautiful, whatever size you are. But they didn't want to hear that. So when I went home and kind of talked to my dad about, that challenge and what I had gone through, he encouraged me to create my own body shapes. I'm like, I guess I can do that. Maybe I can. So at the time, I actually had just got an intern. Well, fast forward to the top of 2019, I had just got an intern. She was a graphic designer, and she's awesome. It was at the time. And she created my body shapes for me. And she created how they looked. She created the descriptions. We came up with an idea to do like ratios so women could figure out, like, with their 3 measurements, how to actually associate themselves with whatever body shape they are. And the Body Shape Bible came about. And at the time, I want to say I put it out towards the end of the year, or closer to like Q3, Q4. And I didn't really push it as much. Like, I put it out there and that was it. But over time, body shapes have evolved. I have evolved. things have changed in my life. So fast forward to this year, I've been able to kind of just update it and make it a little bit better. Still the same body shapes, still the same concept. But now I know when I showed you and the other women at my previous event, I know you guys were
Very
very
excited.
excited about it. So that kind of encouraged me to rebrand it and just put it out there for this year. So, and now I'm here. So
So
yes.
let's go back and take it back a little bit, and that's good. And I want you to also tell the audience about, briefly about the general overview of the Body Shape Bible and the different shapes. And we want you to invest in it as well too. But the process. So I know you mentioned that your dad was the one that encouraged you to come up with your own body shapes. So as you were going through creating the actual document, walk us through what that process with God was like, because I know and I can only imagine that there were things that you had to overcome within yourself as well. So what were some of the external factors and the internal factors that you had to work through with God concerning your own body perception, and then even how the women were going to receive that which he has given you to share with them?
Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful I had my intern at the time, Kyla. She was amazing, like I mentioned. She literally created the body shapes on her own. Like, I feel like I like faintly remember like just talking to her, like saying I wanted something that's positive, or I want shapes that are positive. I want women to feel good, like regardless of what shape they are or decide that they come up with. I want them to feel good. Like, I just don't want them to feel negative. I don't want them to not like the shape that they are because of, whatever, limiting beliefs they have or whatever someone else has said about them. Like, I just want them to feel good and positive, and I want them to be able to be excited now that they know their shape, now that they know their sizes. I want them to be excited. So they could go into the stores, they can find what they're looking for a lot easier and just make their lives easier. So I feel like that's the type of conversation me and my intern had. And she kind of just did whatever she felt led to do. And when she came back to me with what she came up with, I was very pleased. I really didn't have to do too much as far as like drawing anything out for her or anything like that. She came up with the idea of like the diamond cuts, which makes sense because
Yes.
diamonds are a girl's best friend. So being able to, look at a diamond and seeing how beautiful it is, like, and relating to that was all her. Like, and just the idea of course, the body shapes we kind of collaborated on, but just the look of it, she came up with that. And even the ratios, we collaborated on that too, because that was one thing that was, I will say, a challenge, because taking your measurements yourself isn't an easy thing to do. So I wanted it to be easy for women to be able to do it themselves, but I also wanted it to be some type of formula that kind of showed them, okay, what steps they needed to take in order to figure out what body shape they were. Because a lot of women assume that they're a certain shape. A lot of women come in thinking like, oh, this is the shape that I am. And once they actually take their measurements, they're a completely different shape. I feel like in general, a lot of women just make a lot of assumptions about their body. A lot of us think that we're a lot bigger than what we are. Some of us think we're a lot smaller than what we are. And it's very frustrating, one, as a stylist, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to help you, and you think that you're a size 10, but since you're really a size 6, like, why? So, I mean, all of those things played a huge role in the direction that the Body Shape Bible went into. And even now, as my business evolved and as I have evolved over time, I mean, one of the main reasons why I even came up with the Body Shape Bible was because I was working with women in the beginning stages of my career, and I would literally ask them, like, okay, what are your sizes? Half of them would not know, or they would give me some bogus sizes that don't even make sense. So when I was doing like editorial styling, I would go out and I would shop. I would spend so much time getting all of these clothes in the size that the woman told me she was. Come to find out, she would try the things on and they would be way too small or they would be way too big. And it was so embarrassing for me because I'm like, these are the sizes you told me. And now I look like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I look like, I'm not an expert because now you can't fit into the clothes and we're all just confused. So it was so many instances throughout my career that kind of made me or led me into the direction of creating the Body Shape Bible, helping women to determine their sizes, and really just helping them to feel a lot more confident in their bodies in general. So that's kind of how it came about. And that's pretty much how the conversation happened between
You
me
know,
and my
what's
intern at
important
the time.
about what you said and what I often stress when I'm talking to other women is the importance of understanding the different factors and different dimensions that goes into birthing out something. So there's the spiritual aspect where
Yeah.
you are having a conversation with God, you're having a conversation with yourself, you're also having conversations with individuals that know you well, because a lot of times we have blind spots. So it's important for you to talk with other individuals to say, hey, this is what I see in you, your conversations with God and your conversation with yourself as well. But then there are also the practical pieces as well. Actually going out and applying and doing the things that you need to do to bring everything full circle. And so I love that you talked about that particular journey about going out and really and doing the personal styling for these individuals, but then come to find out that's not their body size. They come to find out they don't know their body size, because that not only speaks to what the particular issues that the women are facing, because then you know how to best help them, but it also speaks to some of the things that we as women particularly go through, where we're not sure about ourselves, we're constantly questioning ourselves, we're constantly trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step? Does this fit? Do I fit into that? Or we're trying to fit into a particular mold that we were not created to fit into anyway. And so it's good that you particularly did this part, because sometimes we despise or we try to do away with some of the experiences that have happened in our life. And if you had done away with your time at the Trump Club, then there would not have been that transition to working with women. There would not have been the understanding for you that maybe I just need to wait things out a little while. And then from there, you transition
Yeah.
into creating the Body Shape Bible. And so all of these things really help us and really help us to think through, okay, as a visionary woman, what are the key factors for us to ensure that we're doing the work from the top down to the bottom? We're doing the spiritual work, we're doing the emotional work, the mental work, and we're actually applying the principles that we're learning as well. So I love that you specifically talked about that. I think those things are key. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I want to go back to something that you particularly said as well that I think that's important. And I want you to talk through, just as a visionary woman, how you have really helped women to uh, transition their mindset, right? Because it's really a mindset thing. Because you talked about the women who they believe that they're one size, right? They say they're 6, and then sometimes they end up being a 10, or sometimes they end up being a 4. Walk us through, as a visionary woman, what type of mindset do you need to have in order to help someone, especially a woman, to really transition into understanding who she really is as a person, who God created her to be?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Um, and funny you ask, because I think we talked about this when we connected, but the mindset work wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
something that I was worried about throughout my career. For me, it's just how my brain works. I mean, when I as a young adult, I feel like we're all confident when we're at a certain age, maybe like adolescent or like teenagers. And then as we get older, our
Mm-hmm.
confidence kind of dwindles a little bit. And for me, I don't know why that's the case. I guess the more we know about ourselves, or the more we know about people, or the more we know about the world, we kind of like, kind of step back a bit. I don't really know. But I realized a lot of women and their confidence level kind of dwindled as they
Mm-hmm.
got older and as they experienced
Life
certain
was
things.
lifing. Life
And for
happens.
me,
That's what typically happens.
yeah, and I get it 100%. There are a lot of things that women, my clients, have gone through that I
Mm-hmm.
have not experienced. I have not had children just yet. I have not been in a space where, I'm married or am in like, or I've lost a loved one. Like a lot of the things that a lot of women who I've worked with have gone through, I haven't experienced. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, how can I like meet these women where they are. Like, what can I do to make them feel confident like I am? Like, I mean, the confidence for me, it kind of was a roller coaster ride. Like, it started off high, and then, you know, I got older and it kind of went low, like I mentioned. But then, like, after I got past a certain age, maybe, you know, some of my life experiences and some of my goals that I've accomplished, like graduate from college, getting a degree, like starting a business and being successful at it, like a lot of the opportunities that I've had, they've kind of helped to rebuild my confidence. And for me, you know, even having the right types of people around me to kind of keep me elevated and to kind of motivate me and to kind of encourage me, that support system, a lot of people don't have that. And it took me a real long time to realize that. Like, I'm like, oh, everybody doesn't have a boyfriend who encourages them. Everybody doesn't have parents that support them. Like, oh, I guess I am kind of special, huh? So, I mean, for me, I'm looking at women from through a certain set of eyes. I'm like, how can you not feel confident? Like, you're married, you have kids, or you have a great career, or you are wealthy. Like, how can you not be confident in yourself? Like, what's up, sis? But it's that eternal them, or that internal things, or those things that you can't see, those things that, you know, they don't always see, they just feel it, that are kind of like, you know, messing them up, and kind of discouraging them from taking the next steps or moving forward in their life. And that was something I had to figure out later in life. So I didn't really start talking about this mindset stuff, honestly, until this year. Even when I met you, I was in a space where I was like just starting to like talk about it more. Because for me, it wasn't really something that I had to like address. Like, I've always, I mean, there were points in times where I wasn't fully confident in my body. I'm not going to lie. I've gained weight over the pandemic. I had to readjust my wardrobe. I don't have the largest chest. Like, my friends used to make fun of me for having like no boobs, to be honest with y'all. But those are things that I kind of got used to. Like, I'm okay. Like, and having that support system, like I mentioned before, and even a boyfriend that loves me for who I am, like, that has helped me to feel confident about my body. But a lot of women, even having those things, that's not enough for them. They need to feel confident in the internal piece that I just mentioned. So for me, to answer your question about how I actually help women to like, or what we even talk about to actually start shifting their mindset, for me, I'm still learning about what exactly I need to say. But what I started doing was just encouraging them and giving them specifically some journaling prompts that kind of help them to write out their feelings. It kind of helps them to sit quietly and to just be at peace. Like, journaling for me has been something that I've always done. And maybe that's why I never kind of like, you know, dealt with a lot of the or even cared with a lot of the things that people have said about me. It's like I care a little bit, but not to the point where it's going to stop me from doing what I want to do. That's just my personality. And like I mentioned, everybody doesn't have that. So I'm thinking of the things that I do to help me to stay focused and to help me to stay on track. And of course, journaling, building my relationship with God, that has been a huge part. I grew up in the church, but like, I didn't really know who God was until maybe college. So in my early 20s.
Like,
so, you know, and relearning who he is. Yeah, like most of us, right? Relearning who he is, relearning who I am, and just taking the time out to really like say like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? What's my purpose? Like, what exactly does all this mean? And I kind of did that unintentionally. It wasn't something that I like set aside time for. I mean, I guess I did, but it's just who I am as a person. Like, I'm always wanting to learn. Like, I'm always wanting to change and evolve because I want to get better. And I feel like most women and most people in general want that too. They just don't know how to do it, or they just need some type of guide or direction to get there. So for me, God was that direction, of course, being surrounded by other Christian women like you and just some of the other organizations that I'm a part of to kind of encourage me and to push me forward. And like I mentioned too, journaling as well. Journaling has been a big part. I've always had a diary ever since I was little. Of course, now it's not a diary, it's a journal, so anybody can read it. but I mean, it's still very personal to me. So just writing out like how I'm feeling, as simple as that, like writing out how I'm feeling, writing out what I want to do today, writing out how I
Mm.
want my day to look, writing out my goals. Like, people don't write anymore. Like, everybody's in their phone, or everything's like electronic, or like technology has kind of taken over our lives. And obviously it's a great thing, but like, I feel like I'm real old school, so I'll write out everything. My to-do lists, I have planners, I have journals, like all of those things has really helped me to be the person that I am today. And to answer your question again, I really think journaling is something that I'm encouraging more women to do, to kind of shift their mindset and to understand like who they were created to be. Aside from building their own relationship with God, I mean, I can't push God on people. But I mean, just talking about my experiences and
Mm-hmm.
how he has gotten me through has always been encouragement to others. So that was a long
No,
response
that's good because
to
you
your
had a lot of
question.
key pieces. And I think the last part is really important, that we create an atmosphere where people feel safe with us. And it's through that where people get to experience who God is. We don't have to push God by saying
Yeah.
God. We just need to display who he is. And then people will begin to say, there's something different about you. There's something different that you carry. And so we're all called in the various spaces to do exactly just that. And through styling, someone can experience God because they experience the love. Through your caring for them, through you ensuring that they feel good about themselves, that they're really thinking about their mindset, they're really thinking about
Yeah.
how they can become better, how they can express themselves, because that's all a part of it as well too. Because the personal styling is the personal part of it. It's not corporate styling, it's not a global styling, it's personal
Mhm.
styling. So it speaks to the person, it speaks to the personality of the person, and you using the tools that you have, the skills, the knowledge, the expertise to bring that out of the woman, because most times they don't know that. Most times, especially if you're in corporate America or you're in a you've been raised in a certain particular culture, you feel like you have to be in alignment with that or can just walk out your entire life that way. And so there's nothing that really encourages you to be different, to have different glasses or to have big earrings versus knobs, or to have a particular outfit versus something else. And so I love that you said that. And I love the fact that you do take the time to do that. And that's what I see when you talk about being a visionary woman in the space of personal styling, is that you're not conforming to a particular prescription of how things are supposed to be, but you're really looking at the woman and trying to help her to figure out who she is, trying to help her to figure out who she is created to, God has created her to be. And I love the fact that you talk about journal prompts, because these are the things that we need to do, because life is so busy and life is so hurried all the time. And so we're constantly moving that we don't take time to really sit with ourselves, sit to think about how do we want our day to look like. So I'm loving that you mentioned that. I want to pause here because we did get two questions and I want to bring them up. And so for those of you that are in the audience, thank you so much for commenting. Make sure that you're commenting and liking and sharing. I want to address this particular question too, because I know it speaks exactly to you, because you are someone who is very much into the individualistic part of the person. And so they're asking, walk us through your
Mhm.
thought process of putting together a spicy outfit or an outfit that really stands out.
Yeah. So for me, the outfit aligns with who
Mm,
the person is that I'm styling. So my questions are always, what are your size? What are your body shape? Of course. And if they don't know, I help them figure that out. But I really love to learn more about what the woman does every day. Like, what does your lifestyle look like? Are you sitting down at a desk? Are you running around chasing after your kids? Are you driving a lot? Like, I feel like a lot of women don't consider their everyday life and how that plays a part into their wardrobe and what they're wearing, because everybody wants to be comfortable, everybody wants to wear things that are soft and cozy. But I mean, think about your lifestyle. Like, you can't be in sweats every day because
mm-hmm,
you work at a corporate job, or you can't be in leggings every day because you have to go into an office or you're meeting with clients. So like, what are you wearing then if you're trying to be comfortable? And that's the thing too. I feel like a lot of women don't realize that regular clothes can be comfortable as well when you actually buy clothes that fit your body shape. So size, it always goes back to size. It always goes back to body shape. But some of those things that pop up in my mind, or some of the questions that I ask to really figure out, you know, what a good outfit is for a woman, is what their lifestyle looks like, and of course what their personality is, because so many women who are wearing all black, or who like don't like wearing color, are some of the most bubbly, exciting, like confident women ever, and they only resort to black, or they only resort to like boring neutrals because they just don't know, like they don't know how to shop for an outfit, they don't know how to put an outfit together, they don't know what colors actually look good on their skin, but they love color. It's so crazy to me. Or they feel like the colors that they love don't look good on their complexion. Honestly, y'all, you can wear any color you want to wear. It's really the shade that really determines, like, okay, I hate, or what's a good example? So like yellow. A lot of fair skinned women feel like they can't wear yellow. But if you wear like maybe a muted mustard color, or even like a softer pastel yellow, you know, really just switching up the shade of the color, it can work for you. It can be a game changer for you. So for me, it's really lifestyle, figuring that out, and then understanding like their personality, what their preferences are, because that's important too. And that's another thing. I'm not here like trying to tell women, you know, you need to be wearing this, or you should be wearing this. Like, it's a collaborative thing. So I bring my expertise to the table, but they also bring their preferences and what they like as well. And I use that to really curate an outfit that makes sense for them. Because the outfit is for them. It's not for me. I'm not dressing you how I would dress myself. I'm not dressing you how I would dress another client. I'm dressing you how I would dress you, just going off of what you've mentioned, what you've said, the type of vibe you want to give off, and the type of way you want to be perceived. And when you kind of start talking through those things, like, okay, I want to be perceived as someone who, you know, is educated, or someone who is sophisticated, or any of those things. When you start saying those words, I'm able to kind of pull those words and figure out, or, you know, curate a look that aligns with what exactly that can look like, because a lot of women don't know what sophisticated can look like, or personal style is subjective. So they might think they know what a sophisticated look may look like, but that may not be the type of sophisticated look that's for them. That may be a look for somebody else. So all of those things play a part.
No,
So I
it
hope that
did.
answered
It
the
did. It
question.
did. And I'm hoping the person will respond as well too. But I like what you said, because as we've been talking about, and I think this is the theme, really speaking to the woman. Everything that we have been given to ensure that we're helping women. So as you, as a visionary woman, personal stylist, myself as a visionary woman who's a vision strategist, who's really passionate about equipping women to confidently create and carry out their vision, it goes back to the person, the persona of the person, who the person is. And that is key. And the only way that you can do that is really helping the person to identify who they are. And so it goes back to identity, it goes back to who that particular person is, their likes, their dislikes, and helping to bring out some of those things as well too. I love that you talk about the different shades of color, because I love yellow. I love yellow. I love oranges. I actually like coral. And a lot of people say coral looks very nice against my skin. And so there are a lot of colors that I like, but I didn't even really think about the different shades. Because, you know, sometimes in our mind, when we think about yellow, we have one picture of yellow, and that's the sun.
Yeah.
That sun color, like the one that we do in
Yeah.
elementary, you know, when we were younger.
Right.
Yeah, that's the right one. But to you, like you said, the mustard, darker yellows, brighter yellows, all of those things, the ones that, the yellow that has like a tinge of green in it. Like, there's so many things that have been created. And so we don't have to feel that we have to stay stuck in this one thing and this one way, but we need people like you to bring those things out of the women as well. And so as we transition to closing out the segment, talk to us about where your consulting company is now. What is your vision for your brand? What is your vision for the Body Shape Bible?
Yeah. So right now I'm in a space where I am, of course, still helping women to curate capsule wardrobes that make sense for them. Capsule wardrobes are my favorite thing to do, and I would say is
What
one
are
of my
capsule
signature things to
wardrobes? What are
do
those?
because yeah. So capsule wardrobes can consist of a limited amount of pieces of clothing that can help you to curate multiple
Right.
different looks. So you can have a capsule wardrobe with 10 pieces, a capsule wardrobe with 20 pieces, but the idea behind a capsule wardrobe is to help you save time and to help you really like curate a wardrobe that makes sense for you so you're not wasting a ton of time trying to figure out what to wear because you don't have a ton to choose from. I feel like that's another challenge for women. Like we have too many options. So when you narrow down, what you have in your wardrobe or what you're offering yourself to choose from, it just becomes a lot more easy or a lot easier for you to really put together an outfit. So capsule wardrobes, I like to say, are my signature thing that I like to offer because you can create like a color story. So like your capsule wardrobe can include colors like navy, cream, black, and white. And all the pieces in your wardrobe will consist of those colors, which will make it easy to pair them together. So I love those. That's what I love doing. But aside from that, I mean, I'm helping them to curate a wardrobe that aligns with their body shape. So body shapes and sizes are always going to be a part of what I do because that's how I figure out like what styles best flatter your shape. That's how I figure out what size you are, of course, when I'm shopping for you to make sure that your size is available. Um, and also just teaching women, educating women on how to shop for themselves too. Because I love, of course, I want to be able to shop for my clients at all times. But sometimes women just want to do something really quick on their own, or maybe they just want to make a quick purchase on their own. And I'm all about intentionality. So making sure that they're intentional about what they're shopping for so that it makes sense for, their capsule wardrobe that they're building. So really just making those right choices. So right now, my main focus is to curate capsule wardrobes for my clients, but also making sure that I'm helping them to determine the body shape that they are so that they can be more confident and they can walk confidently in every room that they are assigned to be in, whether it be going into work, whether it be attending a conference, whether it be speaking at a conference, being on a panel, meeting with clients, like whatever is coming their way, I want them to be prepared for it. Because most of the women nowadays too wait until the last minute. Oh, I have a photo shoot tomorrow. Can you help me put together an outfit?
Yeah,
Or I have an
that sounds
interview
like
next week.
that sounds like
I need to
somebody I
order
know.
something real quick. It sounds like a lot of people I know. Like, I don't know why we wait to the last minute. And I think it's a fear thing because, and just, not knowing what to wear, not knowing where to shop, not knowing how much money they need. And they kind of just put it off to the last minute. But like, you can't go anywhere without being dressed. So like, that should be your first thought. Like, I got to put clothes on for this event or for this thing that I'm going to. I need to figure out what I'm wearing first so that way everything else can kind of fall into place. That should be the first thing on your list, to be honest with you. But maybe that's just me. But that's what I encourage my audience to do. So to kind of put it in like a statement, right now I'm working with aspiring, sophisticated women, really helping them to harmonize their inner beauty with their outer appearance so that they can show up as the person that they're designed to be or that they were designed to be. So the capsule wardrobes, the body shape Bible is an addition to that. All of my clients, when they invest and sign on to work with me, they receive a free copy of the body shape Bible because that's something that they need. And even if it gets updated over time, they still get access to that updated version, which is really cool too. But that is my goal, to really help women to just save time, save money, save stress, or not stress about what they're wearing, but also show up confidently in the spaces that they're
So
that
you
they're
heard it
taking on.
here.
So,
This is your opportunity to, one, make sure that you're following Kristen. Make sure that because her goal is to harmonize your inner beauty and your outer beauty. That's the perfect combination. And so you get the opportunity to work with someone who knows what they're talking about, because that's very important. Who's been in the industry for a long time, but she cares about you, the internal and the external. And you get an opportunity to get a free copy of the Body Shape Bible, which is something I definitely encourage you to get because I have seen it. I've actually used it through Christen. Like she used it on me, and I was like, wow, this is something that every woman needs to know. And I'm not someone that recommends things, takes recommendations or recommending things very, lightly. I think it's important because I'm basically supporting and saying that this thing is good. And I really, truly am saying that it is good because it's something that you can do on yourself. You can share it with other people as well, because the goal of the Visionary Woman is to ensure that whatever knowledge we have, we give it to others. We're not holding it on. We're not holding on to it for ourselves, but we're sharing it with other people as well. So make sure that make sure you follow her, and you can follow. We'll talk about that at the end too, where people can find you, so you can share all of your information. But make sure you can start to follow her from now. Just press the arrow. When you drop down, you see her, press follow. It's just that simple. And so we've talked about a lot of things this morning. We've talked about you as a visionary woman, what you have done through your personal styling consulting company, the Body Shape Bible. What is one message that you would say to another visionary woman who is on the fence about birthing out her vision, that's just not sure what she should do, where she should go, should she even do it in the first place? What would you tell her?
I would definitely encourage her to start, to do it, to take that step. I know for me, when I was hesitant about doing certain things, that's a sign to mean that you should be doing it. Like when you're hesitant, or when you feel some type of fear, or some type of, should I do this or should I not? I really feel like that's a sign to go ahead and do it. Because it's gonna be scary. It's something new. It's something different. You're going against the grain. Um, yeah, you may be creating your own lane, which is something that I'm doing. Like there aren't a lot of personal stylists talking about this. And for me, it's always been scary because not everybody receives it the same way that I would want them to. Not everybody understands what I'm saying. I always feel misunderstood, but that's a part of being the person that God created you to be. Like he was misunderstood. Nobody knew what he was talking about. Nobody, liked him when he first came around. Nobody, saw him for the person that they were supposed to see him as. And, it was hard for him. So it's going to be hard for us. And that's not a bad thing. Like challenges make us the people that we are today. Challenges, a lot of the things that I've gone through have led me to make the decisions that that I didn't really even know that I had to make, if that even makes sense. But it kind of led me down the path that I'm taking right now, those challenges, those things that were hard. And so I would just encourage them to start, to seek wise counsel. So to go to or find people that are doing what they want to do, that have done what they're doing, and even people who haven't. Like I know for me, I always am looking to connect with people who aren't in my industry, because I don't always want to get like a biased response from people who have already done what I've done. I love, both having experiences from both types of people, but going for people or asking for help from people who aren't in your industry is also great too. So just starting, don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid of doing something wrong, because you're never necessarily doing anything wrong. You're never losing. You're never necessarily even messing up, to be honest with you. You're just evolving and transitioning as things happen. So don't be afraid of that. So I feel like that's what I would say.
That's right. That right there is wise counsel. I love what you said. Don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to mess up. And that's really important, because we always feel like, okay, if I do something wrong, then I need to quit. But when you are going in uncharted territories, when you're creating your own thing, when you're starting something, even if other people are doing it, if you are doing it for the first time, there's really no wrong way to do it. Because just like I always think about the example of bread, there are different types of bread. There are different types of brands of the same bread. There are like 50 million brands of whole wheat bread. I mean, then in bread, you have rye bread, you have ciabatta, you have all types of bread. You have honey wheat, then you have regular wheat, then you have this. And so there's something for everybody that you have been called to offer that particular person. And so you're not for everybody, and you will not be for everybody, and you don't want to be for everybody either, because that's when you begin to sell yourself short, or you begin to expand yourself so much that you can't provide value to anybody because you're trying to provide value to everybody. And so I love that you particularly mentioned that about creating your own lane, and you're doing that with the Body Shape Bible, and we're all called to do that with the things that God has given us. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, and that is something that I can take away personally as well, because we're all in a space where we're learning. We all must be in a posture of always learning. When I do these lives, when I do the Visionary Woman series, these segments, it's an opportunity for every woman that comes on here, and even men that come on here and support their women, because we do have a lot of men that come on and support their girlfriends and their fiancés and their wives. So shout out to you as well. When you come on here, you're hearing something that you can take away. That's one of my biggest things, is to ensure that whenever we do these lives, we are creating value, that somebody is leaving with something that they can implement right there, right then, that they can implement after they get off the live. They hear something that they're like, let me go back to that vision. Let me go back to that thing that I've been working on, and let me implement exactly what she said. Let me start. Let me create my own lane. Let me be confident in the thing that God has given me. Let me not move away from it, because that is the easiest thing for us to do, to start something and then we don't have the consistency. And going back to something you said too, you said wise counsel, but you also talked about being in community with people who can push you, but being in community with people that are not in your industry. That is something that is so key. And I'm absolutely, absolutely happy that you said that, because many times we feel like we have to be in one particular circle, right? We don't think about expanding, because we need everybody. And the thing about it is too, we all have different types of sight. We all can see physically, but when it comes to vision, when it comes to seeing different things, we don't have the same level of sight as the people that are in our circle. And so it's important for us to expand our circle, because somebody can come in and they can bring something different that you've never thought about, a different way even of encouraging you, because support looks very different. So it's not always monetary. It's not always, somebody doing a like or a comment. It can be something as simple as, hey, I saw that you did this. Consider doing it this way. Or have you thought about expanding it to this region? Have you thought about doing it this way? And so all of these things are so key. These are gems, guys. So make sure that you're taking notes, you're writing down. If you're watching the replay, you can press pause and go back to this piece. And this is such a great conversation. I don't want it to end. And the beauty about it is that I get to be your friend, so I don't get to end these conversations. But for the people who don't want to end the conversations as well too, they want to work with you. They want to hear more about what you're sharing, especially concerning mindset and personal identity and how that plays into personal branding. Where can they find you?
Yes, so definitely follow me on Instagram. My business page is SCB Luxury Styling. That's Sophisticated Chic Brand. So SCB shortened Luxury Styling. You can also follow me on my personal page, So Chic Chris. That's SOCHIC and then Chris, CHRIS. And then my website, sophisticatedchicbrand.com. I have blog posts there. I have my Body Shape
Yes.
Bible is available there as well, along with access to my YouTube. So I do YouTube videos too, y'all. So I share knowledge about how to build your style confidence, working on some more videos to release within the new year. But I'm excited for you all to connect with me. If you want to work with me specifically, definitely schedule some time to chat with me. A style breakthrough session. It's about 45 minutes of your time. It's free. We meet through Zoom and we just talk through like your challenges, why you feel like you need to work with a stylist or someone like me, and what transitions you're going through that I could assist you with and all those good things. So I'm excited
Thank
to
you
connect with
so
y'all.
much, Christen. And there are people that are already following me, but for those of you who are not, make sure that you are following. We are doing the Visionary Woman segments, and we're doing these lives every Saturday. The last one is actually next Saturday. That's December the 9th is the last one coming up for this particular series. We'll start the series again next year. I can't believe we're saying next year already, but we'll start it next year. February 3rd will be the first one. So you want to make sure that you are following. Also, if you would like to work with me personally, you can visit my website, monaleebelazaire.com. All the information is in the bio. And I'm actually running a group coaching session for this particular season. It's actually going to start in December. It's going to start on the 12th of December, and it's going to run into the new year. And this is to help you to get direction towards your vision. And so many of us have a vision. We know where we want to end up, but we lack the steps and the necessary tools in order to get there. And so if you want to be a part of a group of women who are going in the same direction as you are, in the sense that they are moving towards a particular vision, this is something that you want to sign up for. You can get that on my website. The link is also in my bio, so you can complete the application, because the slots are very limited. Because for me, I want to make sure when we're doing this type of work, it's intimate and it really gets an opportunity to speak to every woman. That's why the slots are small. There are only 8 slots, and so you don't want to miss a slot at all. So make sure that you go, you fill out the application, and I will definitely connect with you. You can also sign up to do a 15-minute discovery call with me as well, to talk about your vision, to talk about direction, to talk about areas where you are stuck, areas where you need help. I am here for you. Christen is here for you, so you get the best of both worlds as well too. And also follow me so that you can go back and watch the other Visionary Women series as well. They have been very, very powerful, very fruitful. Information has been shared, things that are really going to take you to the next level. And so when we come on here, we don't give cheap information. We give things that are valuable to you and to take you to the next level. Christen, thank you so much for coming on. I am so excited for what God is doing in your life. I'm excited for, I know it sounds like I want to talk about the Body Shape Bible, but I love that thing so much because I've never heard anything. I'm not in this industry, and this speaks to what you even said, Christen. Surrounding yourself with people who are not in your industry, because it helps you to see what other things are out there. And so I'm excited about it. I'll probably talk about that the entire time we're friends. And I know you have more to you, but I love that thing so much. And so, so thank you so
No, I
much
love
for
it.
coming on. Thank you so much for joining me. I am excited to see the next level for your personal consulting business, for the brand, So Chic Luxury, because we're so chic and luxurious, and all of that, and the Body Shape Bible. So make sure that you get your copy, make sure that you connect with Christen, and make sure that you tune in next week for the next Visionary Woman series. Christen, thank you so much. God bless you. And I look forward to for us chatting again. I don't think this will be the first and the last time. I know we'll be on
Yes.
each other's platforms in the near future. So thank you again. And yes.
Thank you for
All
having me.
right. Thank you,
We'll talk
everybody.
soon. See
Bye.
you.